Good morning, mi gente. It's 9 a.m. I know, gay people and an LGBTQ plus Kiki at 9 in the freaking morning? Whose idea was that? Oh, yeah, it was my idea. That's why I'm still in bed. I'm FayWhat? And I'm going to help you get your week started off right. We have lots of fun things to talk about. It's going to be a great week.
Gay boys, hashtag that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word. Is that girl the girl of all our dreams? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl. Pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton. Is that girl, Latina, but she's universal too. If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
The FayWhat Show is America's first LGBTQ plus morning show, and we're live right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm also on demand anytime you want. It's Monday, March 4th, 2024, and welcome to Women's History Month. So let's kiki about what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community. I have a sidekick joining me in bed for some conversation. Of course, you know I don't know what to do in bed with a gay boy, especially one this hairy.
Oh, yes, she does.
Oh, yes, I do. Our first segment is called Gay Boy Sleep Late, and this morning I'm joined by my gay guy pal, adult performer, and star of For the Love of DILFs on Out TV, Alex Tikas. Follow him on his adults-only Twitter at Alex_Tikas and catch him as he bartends at the Eagle with very little clothing on. Like, very little clothing on at the Eagle Wilton Manors. Good morning, Alex, and welcome back to my bed, puppy.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. For 20 years, I wore a suit and tie in New York.
Did you?
And then one day, I started working at the Eagle. Well, I was naked. And then I started working at the Eagle after the suit and tie.
Yeah.
I just wear a jockstrap to work.
Wow. Is there an audition process when it comes? No, don't laugh. Listen, so at Hooters, right? Like you go,
No.
I'm not comparing you to Hooters, but listen, it's sort of like Hooters, right? I mean, except, more expressive.
How do they audition at Hooters?
Yes, you go in and you fill out the paperwork, right? And then they call you back for the interview. And then your first interview is in your outfit. Is in the Hooters outfit. It's fucked up. It's disgusting. Yeah, but they have a problem with drag queens.
Oh my
God. Or go to Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is another restaurant where the girls are dressed like in absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Again, the interview process is like that. So there's none of that in Eagle?
No, there's no interview. Well, there's an interview process, but we're fully clothed. And they don't. And do you steal? No. Are you on time? Yes. Are you friendly? Yes. The culture there is actually so business, and they're so nice to you. And they're like, the nicer we are to you, the more we help you, the more money we make, which is so unusual.
Exactly. And you've told me that since you started at Eagle. And I'm sorry, it surprises me. Just like it surprises me that Eagle is so open and welcoming to women that they have a tea dance there on, one Sunday every couple of months. The Eagle has broken all kinds of barriers that other leather bars don't even touch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But when it comes to, let's be real, all right? Clubs make a lot of money, and the employees are treated like shit a lot of times. So when you're treated good, you protect your establishment.
They want the better they treat you, the better we're at the front lines.
Yes.
Which is so unheard of, because in New York, your manager is usually like a crackhead, and he hates you. He's jealous or whatever, or he wants to have sex with you. Nobody at the Eagle wants to have sex with me on staff. Isn't that awesome?
I honestly, first of all, kind of don't believe that, but I get it. But I understand. No, and doesn't that make you feel good? No?
Yeah.
Do you go to work in your little strap, your little leather thing, and that's it? Or do you wear clothes and you take it off there?
No, sometimes I'll wear my gear over a tank top or whatever, and so I'm like...
His gear is an armband and a leather thong.
Not leather.
Okay, and I think he holds the beer opener in the thing. That's the only reason why he has it. I know too much.
You know a lot of bar... This one.
I know too much. Yeah. I'm just saying, but I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, thank you.
And it just, again, I love the Eagle, and that's awesome that you guys are just so welcoming to everybody, your employees and the people who go there. So keep kicking ass, all right? All right, let's talk some shit. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so first, let's talk TikTok and the LGBTQ plus community, where hashtags like hashtag stud lesbian dominate the scene. But have you ever wondered about the lesser known term, hashtag chapstick lesbian? A chapstick lesbian isn't your typical butch stereotype. The word gained traction in 1990s thanks to an episode of Ellen DeGeneres' show called Ellen, where she herself humorously identified herself as a chapstick lesbian, bridging the gap between lipstick and butch identities. It embraces a mix of masculine and feminine traits, blurring the lines beautifully. I say lipstick or chapstick, just keep shining. What is a chapstick lesbian? What are we all talking about? Did you learn something right now?
I'm learning. Like, I knew the term chapstick lesbian, but I want to know where you fall. What are you? Are you a chapstick? Are you a Carmex lesbian? Are
Am I a Carmex? Do I look like a Carmex lesbian to you?
I think you're a lipstick lesbian.
I am a lipstick lesbian.
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
And the better half?
What would I call her? I mean, she's butchier than me, but she's not butch her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to see her in Birkenstocks. I refuse to allow those. Or Tevas. Those two things are not allowed in my house. Or beige cargo shorts. And that's what lesbians wear a lot. She's not allowed to have any of that. So because I deal with her dress attire, we're good.
Yeah.
Left to her own laurels, she'll probably be dressed like you at the Eagle. And that's it.
I mean, for us, it's like butch top or
Twink.
power bottom.
Listen, don't sleep on the power
Don't
bottoms.
sleep on the power. I don't.
Okay, well, they don't let you because they're in charge, Franco.
Yeah,
I mean, they're in charge.
They are. Well, you
They
know
are
what?
in charge.
Listen, always. If they're not happy, I'm not happy. And if I'm not happy,
They're not
when I'm
happy.
particularly,
Then no one is happy.
no one is happy.
No one is
Trust
happy.
me.
And that's it.
But lipstick, chapstick. I heard that on Ellen actually. Like, she called herself, and it makes sense for her. Portia is a lipstick lesbian. Melissa Etheridge is like, what's that?
A butch
like,
lesbian.
yeah, maybe like chapstick left out in the sun for like a week. Like
Melted Carmax in your car.
Carmex, and you open it up, like, where did it go?
What happened? Why is this all liquid?
God.
That's what she is.
Yeah.
You know. But I can see the chap. I mean, again. Man, do you? How cool is it that you are a woman that takes 2 seconds to get ready and leave the house?
Yeah.
It takes me an hour and a half to look this cheap. Okay? So, I mean, it's a lot of work.
And you look great.
Like,
There's something's going on today. There is something going on. Are you like?
I had sex before I got here.
There is a glow. I was going to say there is a glow.
It was needed after this weekend.
girl.
This weekend was a lot, okay? Woo! I was at winter party all weekend and I was just partying too much. I needed to decompress. Sex always does that. Just, a little side note. Just saying. Next, Boy George faced backlash for allegedly mimicking Kylie Minogue's album artwork for his new single, Religion. The green-hued image featuring George against an orange-yellow backdrop mirrors Minogue's tension cover a little. LGBTQ plus fans of Minogue swiftly pointed out this similarity on social media. When questioned about it, George said, quote, "I'm recycling everything. It's all the rage. Even fashion is catching on," end quote. This is not the first time Boy George had something to do with Minogue. Last year, Boy George spilled the tea on Australian TV show The Project, admitting to accidentally, okay, get that, leaking Kylie's single, Padam, before its official release. Accidentally. Oops. Did Boy George rip off Kylie Minogue? What are we all talking about? Did you see the cover?
I didn't see the cover. No.
It looks so similar. Like, it really does look like he just he literally just took the backdrop of her cover and put himself, and that's it.
Really?
It looks like that. Like, it really does. But I mean, isn't that like the highest form of flattery when you copy somebody?
There is nothing new under the sun. It's already been done. Somebody just recycles it or embellishes it. Do we think that Gaga has done what Madonna, Gaga has picked up where Madonna has left off? It's all, remember when everybody thought that song that Madonna did was just oh, don't go for second best. Yes, it sounded like the other one. Yeah.
It did. It's true. So there's always going to be something like that. Everybody's ear is different. So you might also think, oh, I've heard this somewhere.
Every time I hear something, it always reminds me of, Oh my God, you have to hear this because it sounds just like that.
Well, and that's why they do remixes, right? To make old people like us go, wait a minute, that sounds like something I used to hear back in the day.
Yeah.
Let me listen. Let me continue to listen to
And
it.
if they use a hook from like an old song, that songwriter makes like a killing.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, Dua Lipa. I love Dua Lipa, okay? But when she came out with Physical, I thought of Olivia Newton-John
Right, yeah.
Physical, you know? And that right there made me want to like it even before I liked it.
My God, I remember being called faggot so much because that was like my favorite album when it came out. When she was like in that white, remember the album when she was in that white and she looked like a fucking angel?
Mm-hmm.
I burned the fuck out of that album. But every time my friends would come over, they'd be like,
You are so gay.
You are so
Like, since
gay.
the last time I came to your house, you got gayer.
Yeah. So your record collection consists of Culture Club, of Olivia Newton-John,
Yep.
Michael Jackson's Thriller,
Yep.
Sinead O'Connor.
Yep.
You is gay.
Yep, for sure. For you for sure
You
is
is
gay.
gay.
All right, you don't gotta ask nobody.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Next, have you watched Wheel of Fortune's Valentine's special featuring Dallas couple Dameron and Drew Ober? Well, Baron Harold, his last name was Drew Ober Baron Harold. That's when you know, like, you are important, when
That
you
is
got
a
18,000 names.
A lot of names.
So they've been married for 3 years and together for 8. They stole hearts by sharing their love story sparkled by a dating app. Viewers, even host Pat Sajak, were curious about their digital meet. Cute. Post-show, the gay internet buzzed with speculation. Drew and Dameron clarified, citing time constraints and privacy for not naming the app. Despite the excitement, the duo missed out on the Bahamas honeymoon. Still, their representation on a mainstream platform was a win in itself. Gay love wins, even without the jackpot. Watch this.
I actually went to a local restaurant in Dallas and we just happened to be at the same place at the same time. I got on the dating app and I saw that Drew had reached out to me. So I had a friend scope the place out and...
So cute. We love the Wheel of Fortune couple. What are we all talking about?
Why are they so ashamed of letting people know what app they like? Is it asspig.com? It's asspig.com, recon.com.
Recon, yes.
What, Farmers Only? Where did they remember Farmers? Who knows? Christian Mingle. Yeah.
Right?
But
yeah.
it was probably like asspig.com because they can't say that out loud.
You think that's what it was?
100%.
But I mean, and how do you even sugarcoat that? You can't even, you know what I mean? For main ass, like booty. I don't even know what you would say.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well,
Or lie. Just lie.
we met on
Say Christian Mingle really
what's the
messed
other
them
one?
up.
Yeah.
You know?
J-Date.
Or there's one for Jewish people.
J-Date.
Or say you met on that and just like really screw people up. You know, I'd be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
wow. Like, why not? But we loved them on the show either way. And I think that they should have said that they just met on Scruff and call it a day.
Yeah, but then Scruff would get all of this. That's like a huge platform to get a lot of publicity from. Yeah.
Well, they should have contacted somebody at Scruff and go, look.
Just so you know.
Just so you know, make me an offer. I would get a better subscription.
Yeah. I will upgrade.
I will upgrade.
No commercials.
Next, here is to the remarkable life of Cecilia Gentili. As an immigrant transgender activist, actress, and author, she blazed trails and touched countless lives. Her ultimately passing at 52 left a void felt across communities, with tributes pouring in from Pose co-stars, LGBTQ plus organizations, politicians, activists, and those she championed. Last week, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took the stage paying homage to Cecilia on the House floor. Sharing a clip on Twitter, AOC reminded us that Gentili's mission persists, pledging to carry on her fight, especially for trans youth. AOC paid tribute to Cecilia Gentili. Watch this.
I rise today to reflect on the life and legacy of beloved Queens community leader Cecilia Gentili. Cecilia was a beacon of hope for so many communities in my district. She was only 26 when she fled Argentina to seek asylum in the United States. She arrived in New York City in 2003 and lived her truth as a trans woman. She was finally granted asylum in 2012 as well, and she devoted much of her life to uplifting our trans and undocumented community in Queens. Most recently, Cecilia shined in her artistic pursuits as an author, playwright, and actress. Cecilia was a leader in the fight for HIV/AIDS healthcare and founded a free healthcare clinic in New York City. At the state level, she championed the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Act, GENDA, which was signed into law into 2019. And today, Cecilia would have also wanted to continue to uplift her advocacy against the dangers of proposals like COSA, and would allow states to cut off access to life-saving online resources for online trans youth, like healthcare information. Our community will continue to remember Cecilia as an unwavering leader in the fight for equality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
AOC pays tribute to Cecilia in such a beautiful way from the House floor. What are we all talking about? So I was just talking to Alex off camera about Cecilia, and my friend Cathy Renna from the LGBTQ National Task Force was with us before. And so she had brought me the prayer card from Cecilia's mass, right? And I was telling Alex that they had it at St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Wow.
Take that in, right? So it was a bunch, it was, 200, 300 people overflowing St. Patrick's Cathedral. You don't get more Catholic than that.
No, you don't. It's so weird, yeah.
And so they put out a statement after that they didn't know.
Who didn't know? The church?
The church.
Oh.
Because, of course, far-right people lost their absolute shit.
So they didn't know who she was. They
didn't know who she was.
That's why. But, well, it's all about the money. I don't care who you are. Just pay for the
Just have the check, right? Just have the check clear.
Same thing with the Greek church. It's the same.
Is it the same with the Greek church?
Oh my God, it's the Greek church. It's like when two Greeks get married, the priest has to get tipped. A little information for you.
What?
And there's usually an old lady. After you get married, she goes, don't forget to give the priest the envelope. So they don't care. They don't care that you're getting married. They want your money.
They want the money.
They want your money.
But even at the level of St. Patrick's Cathedral,
oh my God, yeah.
Alex, like, wow. Cecilia was an incredible human.
Good.
She lived and breathed and worked her life for trans rights, for sex worker rights, because she was an ex-sex worker as well. She did wonderful things, and we lost her so young at 52.
And just to tag Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
I love her, by the way.
I've never given money to anybody, political guys, and she's the only person that I've ever given.
Really?
Ever, because
what struck you that made you do that?
She was just like genuine. It was like she started from the bottom, and she's smart. Yeah. She's gonna be president.
God, from your lips, Papi.
She's gonna
from
be
your lips.
Like it's gonna take a minute. But that woman is going to be president.
Look, and she's little, right? Yeah. And she's little, but she's a fight. Yeah. And you know how much shit she takes on an everyday basis? People don't know that.
Her office in D.C. is right across from Marjorie Taylor.
No.
Yes, it is.
Like across the hall? Shut that. No.
Yes, it is.
So can you imagine they both have to step out and run into each other sometimes?
Bitch.
Slut. Or Ocasio says it in Spanish, right? Estúpida. Puta.
Maldita lisiada.
Come mierda. Despreciada. Every word.
¿Por qué?
No, and then she goes very dramatic. Es que te dije que no, que no.
Oh my God, we always go off on a tangent.
We always do. We always do, which is why we're not allowed to hang out outside of the studio, because we won't get shit done. Yeah. That's what happens. Finally, queer fans are eagerly waiting for the highly anticipated sequel to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker with Lady Gaga, poised to take the stage as Harley Quinn. The good news is the director of the sequel, Todd Phillips, has finally shared some tantalizing set photos of dubbed Joker, Foley and Do. The movie has been shrouded in mystery since the beginning, with plot details kept tightly under wraps. But fear not, as the release window for the first trailer is confirmed, and it is October 4th, 2024, and we will have it here on the FayWhat Show for you for sure. Time for another wild ride into the twisted world of Gotham's most infamous villain, and that will arrive soon. The countdown has begun. Joker 2 with Lady Gaga. What are we all talking about?
She's amazing. She does everything.
She really is.
She's like 50 instruments.
I'm gonna play a dramatic role where I die at the end. Spoiler.
We were watching Stars Born, and then there's the ending, and then we were both starting to cry. So can we turn it off, please? Oh my God. We can't watch it.
Is there a time that because I know for me, I can only speak for me, there are times that I need a good cry, and I know certain movies to go to make that happen.
What makes me cry?
So is it when Bradley Cooper dies, you lost it?
Yeah. Oh my God. No, I lost it when the dog started crying.
Dog lover. You see
When
what
the
happens?
dog
You
started
see-
like whimpering,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Oh my God. You're such a softie. You're
I
a
am.
big old
I'm-
Greek bear. Like he's
Yeah.
just a big dude, right? And yet he's just like a puddle. Like just give him a
Like,
dog and he's like,
I'm like gruff and scary on the outside, like Drag Race season 6 on the inside.
like hard to listen to and bad imaging.
Bianca Del Rio.
Oh, she was the only thing that came out that was amazing from those
I
times.
saw that concert.
Did you go
I
on?
went,
Oh, how
yeah.
was it? Was she incredible?
She's fucking hilarious.
That wit of
Yeah,
hers.
smart, very
She's
smart.
so quick, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah.
do you remember now that we're at season 16 and we're all watching our Miami Girls? It's hard to go back to like season 6 and 7, but when I do, I remember that like just seeing her do anything, you're like, this bitch is gonna win.
Who is your favorite?
Of all time,
Who is like the one? Besides, I mean, Bianca Del Rio is mine. One of them. One of two. Violet Chachki is the other one.
oh my God, I love Trixie.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I love Trixie a lot. And, you know, you were mentioning about my makeup. I love Raven.
Yeah.
Raven is one of the first girls, you know.
You're giving me
and
very
like,
Raven today.
Oh, well, thank you, because I fucking love Raven. And by the way, Raven does RuPaul's makeup,
That's right.
okay? So you've got to be on point
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
doing Ru's
Yeah,
makeup, you
yeah.
know. But I've got quite a few favorites.
Yeah,
like
there's
I
some
really
really,
do.
really
There's
funny
just, you know,
ones.
I love Latrice. I'll always love Latrice. She's a
Oh.
hometown girl.
Is
You
she
know what I
really?
mean?
She's a
Like,
Miami girl?
she's from Fort Lauderdale, but she worked
so
forever at the Palace in Miami.
Wow.
You know, so it's hard. You know, I was thinking the other day, like they have DragCon, but I mean, they have so many drag queens that have already participated in Drag Race that they soon will have they should have like a ship for just them. If you ever participated in Drag Race, you should go away on a vacation or something.
They can do like a
convention.
like a winners season.
Oh, that's true.
Like number one, like a season win.
Yes, with just 16, you're so smart.
They can do
Have any of them
everything.
died?
Oh, one of them, not the winners, but a couple of them have that. Cherry Valentine from UK, she
Yes.
killed herself. And what's her name? Died because of the skin disease. I don't remember his name.
Oh.
But yeah, a couple of them died. But the winners are still alive.
Well, there you go.
Anyway.
And I don't know how we ended up on that when we
Why
were
are
talking about Lady Gaga
Yeah.
and
But
Joker.
No, okay, Lady Gaga is the ultimate drag queen.
Listen, Joker won. I could not sit through it. Unfortunately,
No?
I was highly triggered. You know, I am in
Really?
recovery. I'm in recovery. So when he couldn't get his meds, I was so
Really?
Yeah, like it put me in a really. And I don't think that the cinematography is very dark and
It
gray.
is,
I don't
yeah.
think that helped me at all. So I couldn't get through it. But Lady Gaga will help me get through too.
You know what's really weird? Like when he laughed, he was laughing uncontrollably, and he had a card that says, "I laugh uncontrollably when I'm nervous or whatever." I'm like, I do that. Like when something makes me feel I'm not like, you know, joking.
Yeah.
But when something makes me uncomfortable,
You laugh.
I start laughing, and it's really offensive sometimes to people when I do that.
Because they don't know
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
not you laughing at what's going on. It's kind of your anxiety expressing itself through a chuckle.
If somebody is like really, really upset, and I'm like, oh, I start laughing about it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really weird. But that's because I'm like, I don't
Anxious.
know. Yeah. Anxious. Thank you, Joker.
Thank you, Joker. Thank you for making us anxious.
Yes.
The FayWhat Show is part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, and Hotspots Magazine has been documenting the LGBTQ plus experience for 37 years. And Happening Out Television Network has been bringing you daily LGBTQ plus news, talk shows, and more for 4 years. In the same model of PBS and NPR, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to educate and serve the LGBTQ plus community. So beginning of March, anything fun coming up in the Alex Tikas world?
Beginning of March, no, we are in town for Tropical Bear Week and bear this and bears on the boat and bears in the park. And
Lots of bears.
Lots of bears from all. And this is, they're trying to turn it into something really, really big. And so far the numbers are looking really great. It's going
That's
to be.
fantastic. So make sure you go and check out the Eagle and get all the information
Yeah.
on the Tropical Bear Week. Is that what it's called? Tropical Bear Week?
Tropical Bear. Yeah, it's
I love
Yeah.
when the bears come down like that. And they come
Southeast
from
Bear-
everywhere.
These guys do, yeah. It's a big one.
I
We're
love
trying
that.
to turn it into like the beef dip of, this, because beef dip is in Puerto Vallarta. So they have that, and then we're trying to turn that into.
I love that.
They can't get, they have not yet been able to get a solid bear something here,
Yeah.
which is really weird.
Well, I have a feeling that definitely is going to help. So,
Let's do it.
Mr. Alex Tikas, thank you for joining me in bed. You know that I love you. I adore you.
Thank
My
you.
Greek god.
My goddamn Greek.
Or my goddamn green.
Or my goddamn
It
green.
depends on who you ask,
That's
right?
That's right.
So did you know that the Happening Out Television Network studios are located at Sunshine Cathedral Square, which also houses Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church located in Fort Lauderdale. We broadcast our Sunday service every week at 10:30 a.m. FayWhat Show, we bring you interesting interviews from amazing people in our community. We celebrate the start of Queer Women's History Month with Cathy Renna from the National LGBTQ Plus Task Force. I'm so excited about my next guest. You have no idea. Today, we're thrilled to have Miss Cathy Renna joining us. Cathy Renna is a longtime LGBTQ plus activist and currently serves as the communications director for the National LGBTQ Task Force. She brings a wealth of experience and passion to her work in amplifying LGBTQ plus voices and issues. Apart from being a badass from Jersey, what drives her soul is her passion for cooking, karate. She could beat some ass, and she probably had to this weekend at Winter Party. All things pop culture and her love for her family. I'm excited to dive into our conversation with the incredible Miss Cathy Renna. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
How are you, fellow Jersey girl?
Now I'm a Jersey girl. You know, I'm a New Yorker, but
You will always be
I'm
a
now
New
a
Yorker. It's
Jersey
one of those
girl.
things that like kind of always sticks with you, you know? And I know that Jersey is like thought of as like the armpit of the US. I say that
No.
myself, you know, but it's such a part of New York for me. Like, you know, I spent most of my time on Broadway, in the Village, by Stonewall, by Monster, all those places. I don't know shit about Jersey, really. I just know there's a lot of greenery, you know, and it's called the Garden State.
It is greener. Yeah.
You know?
We live just west of Manhattan. It's like the Upper West Side of New Jersey. I mean, so many New Yorkers have moved to New Jersey since
Right?
COVID too. But even before that, I think people are realizing, oh my God, the Jersey Shore is fabulous, which it is. Asbury Park, all that.
Of course.
So I'm surrounded by New Yorkers.
And you love it.
It's all I love it.
And so this weekend was Winter Party. You're here, right?
Yes.
Wow.
It was a lot. It's
It
always
is a lot. It's always a lot. You know, I'm blessed that every year when you come down for Winter Party, I'm able to sneak you in to bed for a little bit because it's like we always have so much to freaking talk about, but you're always so damn busy, you know? Because I mean, you know, you work for a kind of a busy organization, you know?
We're busy. There's a lot going on. And it's like a roller coaster. I mean, it's really great stuff. I mean, Winter Party is I love it. This is my second one. A phenomenal gathering, just a celebration of community and diversity and music and love. And it's like who we're about. We really need it now. Like
Yeah.
at our Creating Change conference, our theme was queer power, queer action, queer joy. We need all three of those.
We
'cause
need-
we ain't going to make it without.
We really are.
Yeah.
We really are. I
But,
mean, you know,
yeah.
so, you know, we'll talk about the thousands of sweaty boys on Miami Beach in a little bit, right? Because last year was Cathy's first year, now it's her second year, and now she does it. She's like, yeah, you know, sweaty boys and
Sweaty
girls.
boys.
It's awesome, you know. Anyway, so we have some housekeeping to get through to
Sure.
first, okay? Because I thought it was so important, you know, to talk to you. You know, it's only March, and I feel like the world is going even more backwards since the last time we talked last year, you know? Last year, you sat in the same bed, you know, and we talked about next year being an election year, this year being an election year. And even though our governor here in Florida has dropped out of the presidential race, you know, but he's returned with a vengeance in other ways, you know? DeSantis passed a law that no longer allows folks to change their gender on their driver's license and will revoke licenses that are not certified. Did you get me?
Yeah, this is why for me, and it's interesting, we get emails. Why are you doing stuff in Florida? Why do you have an office in Florida? Why have this big, fundraiser in Florida? It's because our people are here.
This is why.
This bad shit is happening constantly. So whether our field team is in Central Florida doing, get out the vote work, or whether it's, doing Winter Party, and a lot of people may not even know this, but a lot of the money we raise for Winter Party, we give away through the Miami Foundation to other organizations. We've given over $3 million.
Ooh, cha-ching.
In the last few years.
You know how much good you can do with $3 million, and that's what you do with that.
It is. And that's why we had our Creating Change conference in New Orleans. People are like, oh, don't go to the Deep South. We're like, the Deep South is where we are. It's where people are being most impacted.
Right. It's where you're needed.
So, yeah, it's where we're needed. And so, yeah, it's been really, it's been like a roller coaster. I mean, we're getting ready for, obviously, we're already working on the presidential election, all the other stuff that's happening this year. We have already well over 50 anti-LGBTQ pieces of legislation happening across the country. We've seen the community start to rise up around the death of this young, non-binary, indigenous child next in Oklahoma.
What a sad freaking story, Cathy.
This shouldn't have happened.
So the story that I had read was it was a non-binary child, right? Yeah. I mean, they're young.
Native American.
They were young, and they were bullied in school, and they had some kind of altercation with somebody. They got hurt, and they went to the hospital, and a couple days later, they had passed away.
Yeah, they were being bullied for quite a while. In fact, other students, this was a young person who was pretty popular. I mean, there was a high school walkout, following their death. Other trans and non-binary and queer students have talked about not just being bullied by other students, but actually by teachers, by being misgendered, by
misnamed,
being harassed, dead named. Oklahoma is a state with a lot of anti-trans laws that have been passed, and the superintendent of schools, along with other organizations like GLAAD, HRC, and others, have written to the Department of Justice to try and get the superintendent investigated. This is a guy who appointed the woman who does Libs of TikTok, which is one of the most transphobic accounts and groups on social media, to like a library advisory board. So the hostile climate that was created, the system really failed this kid and all the other kids. Yeah. The number of hotline calls for queer kids in Oklahoma went up like 300% after this happened. I mean,
can you imagine another queer kid being scared after seeing their friend go through something like this?
Right.
Kathy?
Well, as a parent of an 18-year-old who identifies as part of the community who lives in Texas, yes. The big challenge and this really, to me, the most terrifying thing about this is that what we're now seeing are young people attacking other young people. So we are, in the last, 5 or 10 years, because of how hostile and divisive things have gotten, we're creating a generation of young people who are homophobic, transphobic, and hating. Right.
Okay, but who teaches those kids? The hateful parents are the ones who teach these kids to hate.
And politicians. I mean, the rhetoric that is coming from both the federal, local, state levels. I don't have to tell anybody here in Florida, but we see it everywhere. Even in New Jersey, you will see some individual parents stand up at a Board of Ed meeting. My wife is an elementary school teacher, and she deals with, parents who are homophobic and transphobic, and they're all spouting the same talking points. It's like this concerted effort and like kind of cultish mentality where people just take this in and they believe it to be true until it's proven otherwise. So, while there are, I think, glimmers of hope in different ways that we can look at, I said this last week at a vigil for Next that, we're seeing more and more kids coming out. Like, I asked who was over 50, right? Mm-hmm. I was the only queer kid. I thought I was the only out queer kid. But now you see, 20, 30, 40% of kids who are openly, proudly celebrating their identity, whether they're LGBTQ or queer, and you're seeing things like the new trans survey that just got released a few weeks ago, just preliminary data, but it's taking on, using the lived experiences of trans and non-binary and queer people, takes on all the misinformation and lies that has been not just fostering the climate, but helping this legislation pass. That's really, you're institutionalizing hate. That's the really dangerous thing.
It's scary shit is what it is, Cathy, I was talking to somebody the other day about you and about your whole entire crazy crew over there at the National LGBTQ Task Force, and just how we wish we could clone each and every one of you, you know, because we need more advocates, right? We recently lost someone, right, that was so important
Yes, we did.
to our community. And thank you so much for bringing me the prayer card.
Yeah.
What a loss with Cece, you know?
Cecilia Gentili was amazing. She had I saw her just for a minute at Crane Change in the hallway. I gave her a big hug, and then I felt terrible. Like, I found her, she had lost her badge, and I found it, and I texted her, and she texted me back because she said, you saved me a few bucks because they make you pay when you have to get a new badge. And she was just someone I'd known for years. I worked with in New York on the release of Trans Bodies, Trans Selves. That's when I first really got to know her. But she's extraordinary. Her life story. You just like Google her, read Faltas, read her book.
Yes.
You know, she is someone who, you know, on her own, just as an activist, you know, came up, was undocumented, was a sex worker, got herself citizenship, educated, was a policy director at Gay Men's Health Crisis, did a tremendous amount of work to get gender passed in New York City, the Walking While Trans law, right? And also has done a tremendous amount of advocacy for sex workers. So when I went to her funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral.
St. Patrick's Cathedral, okay?
Which
Take
was
that
packed. I mean, I don't think Vogue has done a story about a funeral at St. Patrick's Cathedral like ever, but they did that day. Interview, we had an amazing amount of media, incredible ceremony, and really a testament to who she was, because there were literally, like, the pews were filled with people who had, it wasn't just that they knew her or knew of her and admired her. These were people whose lives she touched. Yeah. She saved lives.
She changed those lives.
Her husband said if the phone rang at 3 a.m. and it was some kid, a trans kid, who needed to go to the hospital, needed help, needed health care, she was out the door.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's just who she was.
She was
amazing.
so young, you know, like we had so many years left of her,
52,
you know?
Yeah.
You know, we need more people like this. These are the people who live out loud for the voiceless, for the people who can't, you know? And, you know, I'm getting chills right now because it's St. Patrick's Cathedral. You know, these are beautiful, beautiful, you know, as a queer person, right? Like my wife was raised Catholic, so she like can't even walk into certain churches without getting that kind of trauma. Right? And then me, I was quite the opposite because I love the stained glass and I just love the beauty of it all, right? But then when you remember, when you know what it represents and what they scream at us and the abomination that we are to them, then you don't want to walk into spaces like that, right? But they had to open up their place for Cecilia. And like, you know, and I don't think that they probably knew her background or anything like that. There was a little
controversy after. Yeah, they were, when some really radical right-wing Catholics kind of they saw the media coverage.
Of course they did.
And then St. Patrick's put out a statement. We didn't know who she was. Whatever. At the end of the day, that's not her legacy. Her legacy is that this person, this trans Latina, previously undocumented, sex worker, activist, advocate, actress, creative, writer. I mean, she was like unbelievably talented in a billion ways. Filled St. Patrick's Cathedral. That's her legacy.
Yep.
Because I want to find somebody else who can fill St. Patrick's Cathedral with so many people. They were chanting her name as they brought the coffin in. They were chanting her name as they brought it out. And it was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had. And I'm not super religious, but I was raised Catholic. I was baptized Catholic. And, you know, it's a powerful experience to kind of feel like you can reclaim that, get that back, you know, because so many of us have been so hurt by the church. So, you know,
and there were so many queer people in that place at one time, you know?
I've never seen that many, particularly trans people. And, you know, many of them, you know, grew up with a faith tradition, yearned to have a faith tradition in their lives. So, you know, to get the smack in the face after was, you know, not shocking, but surprising.
Well, Cecilia will always be in our hearts. And that's a movie that should be made right there. Okay, that's what the Amazon. Look into that.
Her one-woman show. Right,
it could be by itself.
She did a one-woman show. It was
fantastic. I know, but it could have been made into, you know, easily.
It's time.
Anyway, Google if you haven't, if you never heard of her or you just found out about her when she passed away. Google her. Okay, that is kind of an active. She was an activist that you should just say, I want to be like her. You know, if you've got the means to. You know?
I can guarantee you that on June 27th, when we have our event at the Stonewall Inn, which we, in partnership with the Imperial Court, we love, we have the Wall of Honor If you go in the back of the Stonewall Inn in New York City, there's a big wall with a whole bunch of names on it. And one of the most gratifying things for me is to be back there and to see people Googling the names. Like, I don't know who Urvashi Vad is. Maybe I know who Matthew Shepard is. I don't know, maybe I know who Harvey Milk is, but, I don't know who, Betty Achebe Powell is, right? So her name will be up on that wall in June, if I have anything to say about it.
Well,
and I think I do.
And I think you do. Yeah. Cathy can make you want to drink some water if you've got like a case of water, right? You're thirsty. You're thirsty. Trust me. Have something to drink. Let's talk about Queer the Vote. We've got to talk about Queer the Vote. I love your shirt. Thank you for getting me one. I'm going to wear it on a future episode. Yes. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. We have to be out there more this year, more than ever. I mean, we just talked about all the shit that's going on, but I feel.
Want to have a democracy or not? No, I mean, it's not an exaggeration.
My wife believes that civil war is around the corner. I mean, she is that person, and she's not alone. And she's not alone,
Our wives need to hang out.
Our wives really do need to hang out.
My wife does the same way. It's really true. I have a colleague and a friend, Danielle Moody. She has a podcast called Woke AF, and she says this all the time, and she's right. If you want Donald Trump to be the last president of the United States, don't participate, don't vote. Because if we don't all get our stuff together and find a way to get through this, that might be what happens. I mean, it really is that dire. The way he's talking, the way this sort of cult that the Republican Party and his supporters have become, it's really it's scary. I mean, I'm ready to get my dual citizenship and go to Italy.
Everybody's talking about
with my family in Italy. I'm totally eligible for that. I am, I'm one generation.
I'm 3%.
I'm like 150% Italian.
Damn it.
I'm going.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, it's really sad. It's sad and it's scary, but if there's nothing else you do, make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you educate yourself on the issues and who to vote for. Get everybody get involved, volunteer. This is queerthevote.org is the website. You can go and sign up for alerts and get more information.
Can we buy the shirt on there also?
I don't know about that.
Okay, but you can get a shirt up there.
Get all kinds of stuff on our website. Yeah. They can just find me on Instagram. I'll get your shirt. If you're willing to wear this out and about, we'll get you a shirt.
I love it.
It's really, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is.
So, you work tirelessly. I love Kira, I love Kira Johnson.
She's the best. We have the best. I mean, I shouldn't say this because I love other executive directors, but we have the best one. She's just she's an inspiration. I think there are leaders and there are visionaries, and Kira is a visionary and a leader. She really inspires all of us. She trusts all of us, and we have been growing the team. I don't know if you've noticed. We've added some pretty amazing people to our team. Chris Kayashi who was with the Transgender Law Center for a decade.
Wow.
He's amazing. So we've got our field team, we've got our policy folks, we've got the Creating Change I've been going to Creating Change for, how many years has it been? 30 something?
Whoa!
Yeah, I've only missed a few.
What?
The last Creating Change in New Orleans was one of the best ever.
It looked amazing.
It was extraordinary.
You had Big Frida.
We had Big Frida, yeah. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it's New Orleans. You can't not have Big Frida.
No, but Big Frida's amazing. Amazing. Just,
She closed out the conference, her and the Pinettes, which is a all-women second line band, which was how we did our in memoriam. Because again, you're in New Orleans. We respect the culture of the place we're going. And I was joking that we should have it there every year because that city embraced us. We had ambassadors like Mariah Moore and others that were just amazing.
Oh my God.
And, we had gone obviously a bunch of times prior to prepare. We had our staff retreat there. We had a big kickoff reception and they were just so awesome.
Well, and that's everything that I've read about New Orleans because, Queer Eye also did their last season there as well. Right, and, no place needs that kind of money more than a place like New Orleans.
That's
right? So it's so important that you guys went there, that Queer Eye went there, that's money for them. That's money that's so needed. After Katrina, my Lord.
Well, and they have a new governor who's not as progressive as the prior one. So the rest of the state is very conservative and New Orleans is kind of like this, blue dot. And the governor's coming for New Orleans. So we want to be there for them
I love that.
with Queer the Vote and with everything else.
So Kira was on my show, my very first show here on the Happening Out Television Network. We sat over there at the stage and we cried.
She made you cry.
Me, her, and Myra were
She
just,
makes us cry all the time.
It's surprising that we don't cry more. I mean, sad shit happens
Crying
to
is
us.
good.
This is 2.5 years ago that we cried, okay? And here we are crying about more stuff. Are there moments that you guys just feel slapped in the face like, why are we doing this? I mean...
Yeah, it's hard.
I know that's a hard statement, but...
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, last week, my daughter's 18, and she was bullied in school for being LGBTQ, right? And you read about, a ninth grader, 14, 15 years old, who is beat up in the bathroom. We had a high schooler at the vigil that we did in Maplewood, New Jersey, who basically said, that could have been me. I'm non-binary. I get harassed all the time because we don't have a gender-neutral bathroom. So I have to pick which bathroom I go in. No matter what bathroom I pick,
it's going to be wrong.
I'm going to get harassed.
Yeah.
And wrong, right, for them, but also these other students, they know, and they harass this kid. That
you're giving people a reason to bully. Bullies are always going to exist, but you're giving them all the ammo.
Right. Well, and you're facilitating it.
Yeah.
You're facilitating it. You're I wouldn't say encouraging, but like
you're enabling.
I call it a permissible climate of hate. That's what I call it. We create like a permissible climate of hate.
That's awful.
But that's what it is, and it's really you gotta do this work. I always say I don't consider what I do a job. I consider it a vocation. I've said that since I worked at GLAAD like a million years ago, and people look at me like I'm nuts. Maybe it's because I'm Catholic. I use that word, but that's what it has to feel like for it to really, I don't know, not just have an impact on the people around you, but you let it in yourself, because you can't you can't decompartmentalize this kind of stuff.
You can't, but you also can't pretend it's not happening, Cathy. You understand? Like, again, here we are, delusional. This is what I tell you guys all the time. I've been screaming from this bed for the last 2 years, from over there for the last 3 years. Yeah. Vote, vote, vote. Elections are coming, blah, blah, blah. Here we are in 2024, and I still see, a bunch of Trump flags, and people love to take their trucks and with their Trump flag and bring it to Wilton Manors, where all the gays are. I mean, these things will be happening more frequent as time goes on.
This is going to be a rough year. I've been saying that to everybody from, my family to my therapist to my colleagues to anybody I work with, like out in the street. It's going to be a really hard year. It's going to be a roller coaster of ups and downs. I think that, we have to take care of each other. We have to take care of ourselves. Yeah. But we also got to take care of business.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the part that, sometimes I worry about, because I think people are fatigued. Yeah. I mean, we've had to deal with this guy for, how many years now?
For too fucking long.
Like, will he go to jail? Will he eat a cheeseburger and...
Yeah. And none of us believe he'll go to jail or pay a cent.
Yeah. I just want to be at Trump Tower when they take those letters down and Letitia James gets rid of them. Sells off the building. I will be there for that.
By piece.
Right.
We were talking about roller coaster rides, and that's kind of how our worlds go, because as many great things as we get to do, just like we said at the beginning of our interview, we've got to deal with all the bad shit too, it's no secret to you folks at home that my favorite gala of the year is the Task Force Gala, right? And I go to all the galas, right? But I do. But, this year's, National LGBTQ Task Force Dinner, it's just one of those things that excites people. It gets people excited. Yeah. People look forward to it. Yeah. The moment that the date is released, other organizations change their freaking dates of stuff. Okay. That's how important it is, So last year we had Angelique, who was just amazing. Dominique. Angelique. Who was I thinking of? I was thinking of somebody else. Dominique.
I'm telling her.
Don't tell her. She was so amazing. I loved her so much.
Mother is fabulous.
Oh my God. Listen.
Mother.
Dominique on Pose, I know she was a lot of your favorite actress on there, because she was just that powerful, right? Electra.
Extravaganza. Yeah.
And then, she was at the Task Force Gala, and I told Cathy, you have one job. I know you have 80,000 things to do right now, but I need to meet her, right?
You didn't really need me. She is such an open-hearted person. I mean, I've met her several times before, and I've really been blessed to know, most of the cast are posed at this point. Like Jason Rodriguez was at Creating Change. He did Vogue classes. He was a judge at our ball, and he had such a good time at the conference in general. Like DeLon Burnside has been at Creating Change, and he ended up being the host at the gala because he and Kira have become very close friends, which I absolutely love. They're all cheating on me, but it's okay. But she is special. I mean, if you read interviews or you look into her background, she struggled with agoraphobia. It's interesting how these folks who are so public and big celebrities and actors and comedians, they often grapple with a tremendous amount of anxiety. Yeah. And she was so anxious prior to the gala. And when she got there, she left like floating on, exhausted, but floating on air.
She was enamored by the love. She
didn't make it to the after party because she was absolutely exhausted. But it was such a great experience. And I saw her not that long after at the Stonewall Inn does the Brick Awards. It was the first event they've ever done like that. It was fantastic. And they honored her. She used to work there, actually. I mean, she's like done everything. But she used to work at the Stonewall Inn in the 80s before she became famous, when she was like part of the ball scene, and she said that gala was just.
And this woman goes to so many things, after that, I really started stalking her because, I was able to, me and my wife sat with her and Max Fenning and her boyfriend, and like, they were just like talking and asking those questions and talking to us like we were friends forever. Like,
she's
like the
that.
quality of person that she is. But one thing that she did mention was that she was told by friends and family, don't go to Florida. It's not safe for trans people to go to Florida. Okay? She said that out open, and that she's like, I can't. I have to be there for the task force. I have to be there for my people. And that she was so glad that she didn't let that fear overtake her. She also had a big bodyguard boyfriend that was not going to let anything happen to her.
So that's Edwin.
He's adorable.
Her husband.
He's adorable.
He is wonderful. I told her she needs to remake The Bodyguard with a happy ending and a train twist. It would be fantastic.
I love that. And I'm telling you, I know she hasn't. I told her something similar, so that it's on her brain. She needs to do that.
That would be awesome. That would be fantastic.
I would love that. I would watch
that. One of these people, and these are the kind of people that, for me, it's very important that that's our values at the task force. That's who we are. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Kira or if you're just someone who's at the gala. Or, some college student who's volunteering, actually, backstage. She was, like, hanging out with volunteers and stuff. She didn't say no to anything. And when she looks at you, she looks right in your eye, and she's not nobody else in the world. She's just paying attention to you, which is, we don't even experience that with, like...
heart. You don't.
Yeah, she's incredible. I introduced her
to... I know local celebrities that are assholes. I don't talk to most people. Right. I mean,
you have no idea who I think I am.
This is Dominique. I mean, come on.
Yeah. She was at the Stonewall thing. I introduced her to some of the young trans folks from Gender Cool. They were also being honored as an organization. And I told her, I said, cover your ears as we get in there. And she said, why? I said, because they are going to scream. And she didn't just like go take a picture of the red carpet. She spent like 20 minutes talking to each and every kid.
God, that is so sweet.
But it means a lot.
Yes.
It was the same thing at Creating Change. Jason spent so much time just hanging out with people.
Yeah. You made that kid's life. You made that kid maybe think that they have an opportunity to do more.
That's right.
Right? God, we all know that, supported kids grow up to supported adults that can do anything.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's really moving to see folks like that. And
okay, so tell me who's going to be there this year. Tell me.
So we don't
tell
actually.
Me something.
I don't really have a whole.
Come on, you know something, Cathy. I'll show you my left boob.
No, not enough. Karen's watching.
Karen is like, are you crazy?
Cover up.
Karen, you tell me.
What I can tell you is that we have some very exciting things in the works.
Okay.
We just survived Winter Party.
I know.
Next week,
I know.
I think you got to start planning the gala now.
I know. And today's Monday. You still have tomorrow. Your winter party ends tomorrow. Wow, my God. Do you get a day off after?
We're going to Cabo for a week. Very exciting. We were supposed to go a few years ago, and I tested positive for COVID. On my birthday, it was like, I wasn't even sick. It was so depressing. So we rebooked it. Actually, we're going to go to Cabo. I've never been to Mexico. I'm super excited.
I love that.
For a week.
Do you know Spanish?
Sí, señorita.
I'm
fluent in Italian, so I just...
That's not the same.
I know it's not the same.
Listen, I went to Italy, and I was in Italy for like 18 days thinking, I know Spanish. I can get over.
Yeah. I took 5 years of Spanish in high school and French, so...
But you don't need a lot. You need, ¿a dónde está el baño?
¿Dónde está el baño?
You know what that is,
Yes.
okay? Dame tequila,
Tequila.
right?
See, how do you say pineapple? Because that's what Karen drinks.
Okay, but now you have to be very careful with this word,
Tequila
though.
con
Piña.
Piña.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You have to
Say
be
in
very.
Italian,
You have to say, okay.
One N is not good.
Well-
Two N's is.
Well, no,
pasta.
because okay, is a pasta. Okay, for Latinos, if you add a G, it's a penis.
That's right. Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay, so you have to
Gotta
make sure
be
you go
very, very mindful of
piña,
Yeah. Piña.
piña.
There's a tilde.
Okay, not pinga, piña. Because they might bring you a
remember that.
penis, so just be aware of that.
Yeah, she won't-
You know what I
she won't
mean?
want that in
No,
her
I know, and
tequila.
I wouldn't want that in my tequila. I mean, I would, you know, sombrero is your hat, right?
I know that.
La playa.
Sí, vamos a la playa.
Vamos a la playa.
It was actually a song in Italy. Very popular. Vamos a la playa. Anyway,
So, I was about to ask you about your family and your pets and stuff like that. Like, tell me about your pets. Pet. You only have a cat.
yeah, he would eat anything else that we brought in the house that was
Really?
living. He's okay with people, but and even small children. But
How old is he?
he's a rescue, so he was a cat when we got him. But he's probably like 9 or 10 now. I don't know.
And he runs your
His
house.
name is Winston, Sir Winston. Yes,
Sir Winston Churchill?
Yes. Actually, Winston is John Lennon's middle name.
Oh, I love it.
But he's starting to look like Winston Churchill because I kind of feed him. He eats everything. It's really Winston is a special cat. I think he was like abused when he was younger, but he's beautiful. And I always joke his best quality is that I'm not allergic to him. I'm super allergic to cats, but he's
Short-haired
he's
or
either
something?
Russian blue or a chartreuse or one of those. There are only a few breeds that don't
That you're
like,
not. Yeah.
set off my asthma. But yeah,
That was lucky for both of you to be able to have a cat with your allergies like that. That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
can't have dogs in our building, so.
So move. Cathy, what's your guilty pleasure? Like I sit and I just watch old Drag Race, or I'll watch Drag Race from another country and just like, just veg. What's your guilty pleasure?
There are so many. One of the things that I do adore about my wife, because otherwise it would make life very difficult, is we both love horror movies. I mean, not the really, really bad ones, but like Silence of the Lambs and all that kind of stuff, and thrillers and serial killer movies and true crime. So yeah, I mean, popcorn on the couch. That's
With the
that's a
cat with
perfect
Winston
Sunday
right
after.
there.
He's like usually in between us. He's a pain in the ass, but yeah, that's our that, or I don't know, day at the beach. Like, see, here's the thing. That's what we were saying before, like, take care of yourself, take care of others. Like, it's about having a supportive, like, community around you. It's about creating space for the things you love, whether it's a good meal, whether it's a walk in the park, whether it's going to, like you said, going to karate class, right? That is so healing for me. Not just because it's good exercise.
What belt are you?
Lord knows I need that brown.
Girl,
Black belt by 60,
girl.
which is not for another year and a half.
Damn it. So then when I was being like moved around by all those gays boys on the beach, I could have just said, Cathy, help!
This
And
year
you
I
could have.
can help you out. Yeah, this year I can help you out. Yeah.
How long have you been practicing?
So I took it a long time ago when I was in college. And then after COVID, I started to get back into it. And I found this amazing dojo, like 20 minutes from our
Like
house.
Cobra Khan?
No.
Cobra Kai.
We are Miyagi-Do. Thank you
Oh,
very much.
okay. You're Team Miyagi-Do.
We are Miyagi-Do. We are old school. We are, self-defense only. The best fight you can have is the one that you avoid, kind of thing. Really old-fashioned, stripped down, and all these guys are like, Latino guys from the Bronx, starting with our sensei, Luis. And it's really like a family. It's really lovely. And they just took me in, and it came back like, I don't know if it's like muscle memory or what, but like, I really enjoy it, both like mentally, physically, spiritually, really. Like, I mean, it may sound a little grandiose to say
Not
that,
really.
but that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
And so I've actually been very bad at not going because I've been really busy with creating change and this. So,
it's
once
on your mind,
once
honey.
I get back, well, I practice at home, but it's not the same thing when sensei's behind you.
Yeah.
Fix your leg.
Love that though. I love
it's
that you
awesome.
got back into that, like again, like
Yeah.
we have hobbies that maybe we started years ago and it was like, maybe it wasn't the right time for it.
It wasn't. No,
like,
it's interesting as a I was in college, but as a grown up, because I think a lot of us are older, and it's like tennis. Like you can do it your whole life. You just do a little. Like I'm not jumping in the air.
yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
I take you out at the knees.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Do you ever flip Karen over just for fun?
Karen and I do.
Does she ever like wash dishes and you go, wah?
Karen's more of a CrossFit person. Karen's not as much of a,
CrossFit's a cult. Ooh, don't tell her that. Sorry.
Well, we haven't really done that in a while, but yeah.
It's
I mean,
a cult.
she's also
boxes
very
and
athletic,
everything?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jumping on the boxes. Yeah, we did it
That's a
for a
lot.
while. I didn't enjoy it.
It seems.
Karate's more, I don't know. It's
No,
like, I can't meditate because, as you can imagine, I'm like so hyper. There's no way. I can barely sit still.
But you kind of do karate like yoga, kind of like the breathing, the techniques, being in.
Yeah.
Here's my biggest problem most of the time is just being in right now, right? I'm always like, I should be doing something else. Did I forget to do this? Did I forget to do that? Shit, I didn't send that email, blah, blah, blah. Did I forget? Oh my God, I didn't incorporate that person. I really want to help that person. You know, when it comes to that time, it has to be just where your feet are at. Wherever you're planted, that's what you're doing.
So I'm not joking about Miyagi-Do. So I take Okinawan Goju-Ryu karate, which is, like Miyagi, the name Miyagi, that's the man who originated this style of karate. They didn't get it from nowhere for the movie. And it is sort of wax on, wax off, like all that crazy stuff. But there is one kata that is done very slowly, is all about breathing, all about your presence, all about tightening your muscles in your core. Right. Exactly. So like if somebody comes up to me while I'm doing that kata and they go, boom, I don't barely feel it because of how you're, right? Mm-hmm. And you do it so slowly and you breathe. And at the end of it, like the inside of my hand is completely red, right? From gripping. But you're so calm. We do it at the end of class because it's what, we stretch and then we do that. And then it's like, oh, okay. I go home now and take a hot bath because I'm old.
So boys out there, okay, next year for Winter Party, or if you're at Task Force Gala and you see little ass Cathy and you're like, that girl can't do shit to me, you better think twice about it.
I'll be security on the red carpet.
You better think twice about it. So Winter Party was this weekend, like we said, and if you missed it this year, put it on your calendar for next year because it is just an incredible time. The kickoff to Task Force Gala will be in Broward and in Dade this year. I love that you kids do that, just because, I mean, people come from all over.
All over. It's a national gala.
So Task Force Gala is going to be in October, right?
Yep.
Right. And and make sure that you follow National LGBT Task Force at what is it?
We're at the Task Force on Instagram. We're National LGBTQ Task Force on Facebook, and we're at the Task Force on X, formerly known as Twitter, for now.
Yeah, I know.
Lots of people are leaving.
I got off because I couldn't. But again, sign up for the newsletter so you can get their email blast so you can know what's going on, And then I don't want to get text later on. I didn't know it was Winter Party. Okay. You would know.
Here's the thing. So this is what I love about the task force. So whether you're talking about Creating Change, which is our big conference, which is going to be in Vegas next year.
Yes, Sin City.
Can't wait.
Spearmint Rhino.
January 25th. Or Winter Party, if you volunteer, because like we try to make things super accessible in every way, but one of the issues for accessibility is financial, right? Yeah. Not everybody can afford to come to a gala. Not everybody can't, afford VIP tickets for Winter Party.
Yeah.
If you come and you volunteer, you get access to these events.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you do a certain amount of hours of volunteering, and it's not that much, to be totally honest with you, you get to come to the beach party, which is one of the most awesome queer events I've ever been to, and I'm old and I've been doing this a long time. It's really fabulous. And same with Creating Change. Students that want to come, folks who just don't have the finances. Vegas is going to be awesome because the hotels there are not expensive at all because they want you to gamble your money.
Yeah.
And the flights are never that much. So we're really hoping to have, a really big group at Creating Change and, Winter Party as well.
Yeah. And it's going to be amazing because you're amazing, okay? And your group is amazing. No, you guys just kick ass. They really do.
I do love the task force, too.
I mean, yeah. Cathy, Renna, thank you so much for being on the FayWhat Show. I adore you. The communications director for the National LGBTQ Task Force. Make sure that you follow her on all social media, okay? Follow the task force as well. Follow Winter Party. Again, follow all these events, okay? To be in the know. And again, I don't want to hear you the day after say, I didn't know. And you see that all the boys hooked up with all these hot, luscious hotties on the beach and you weren't there. All right? All right. Thank you very much, Miss Cathy Renna. I adore you. You know that I love you.
Love you.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And Karen, I love you too. All right. Everybody back at home. We'll be right back. We have incredible people in our community. And guess who I have in bed next? Is it Bradley Cooper? Is it Brad Pitt? No, it's another hot specimen of man. You might know him as the mayor of Wilton Manors, Scott Newton. Finally this morning, I want to get our week started by telling you some things that are really important to me. We call it Faye, what's on my mind? As Women's History Month has begun, I needed to make you aware of some incredible women in history, right? And Nurse Florence Nightingale is the first that I'm going to tell you about, and she is also on my mind, right? So likely the most famous nurse in all of history, Florence Nightingale was working as a nurse in London when she learned of the deplorable conditions 6 soldiers faced during the Crimean War in the 1850s. The Secretary of War, Sidney Herbert, gave Nightingale the job of forming a team of nurses to help lend and tend to the soldiers. She pulled together a team of nearly 40 nurses and set off where she helped improve the sanitary conditions of the infirmary. With money given to her for her heroism during the war by Queen Victoria, Nightingale founded St. Thomas Hospital and the Nightingale Training School for Nurses. Having contracted a bacterial infection while in Crimea, by age 38, Nightingale was primarily confined to her home, if not her bed, unfortunately. Nightingale never married, but she was reportedly completely devoted to various women in her life, including her cousin, Marianne Nicholson, about whom she wrote in a book, quote, "I have never loved but one person with passion in my life, and that was her," end quote. You know, a nurse had to be the first woman that I spotlight for Women's History Month because my wife is a nurse, you know, and this is where it all became from. This is where it all started from. So throughout this month, I'm going to be spotlighting different women that have been just pivotal trailblazers that have helped and have been part of our LGBTQ plus community. So watch out for that for sure. So folks, that's the FayWhat show. I hope that you had fun. Thank you so much to Alex Tikas for joining me in bed, the amazing Cathy Renna of the National LGBTQ Plus Task Force for a great interview. I am really passionate about trying to connect the L and the G in our LGBTQ plus community. It's often hard for us girls, but if we believe we are one strong community, then we must support all the letters of our LGBT and Q plus. We opened the show with a nod to Mary Tyler Moore, and that girl's Marlo Thomas. This show is dedicated to a strong LGBTQ plus community. I just encourage you to be a little bit kinder, a little bit funnier, and embrace our tremendous diversity because it is really what makes us so damn strong. Until then, make sure that you follow me on all social media outlets, Facebook, IG, TikTok, and YouTube. Also, follow FayWhat. And since you are always on the go, you can listen to the FayWhat Show wherever you listen to your podcast as well. Just search for the FayWhat Show. Until next Monday at 9 a.m. live or anytime on demand. I'm FayWhat, and I am #thatgirl. I wish you a week full of sunshine and rainbows. Stay gay.
Rainbows, gay boys, #thatgirl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L-word. Is that girl, the girl of all I dream? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, #thatgirl. Pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton. Is that girl, Latina, but she's universal too. If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the FayWhat Show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ plus media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the FayWhat Show. Get the week started with me.